Hey everybody, this is ShadowAsh here, and it's time for another countdown video. This is going to be my first ever Halloween special. So, what am I going to be talking about? Well, I've been talking about games for quite a long time, so I figured, why not give it a break and, take a look at some movies for a change. So that's pretty much the topic of this video, since it's Halloween. Top 10 favorite horror movies. And oh boy, I mean, I have recently gone into the genre, and, I've seen a lot of, great horror movies, classics to be exact, and a bunch of bad shit horror movies. So, just remember guys, this is in my personal opinion, so if you have a different opinion, that's okay. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get this list started. I'm ShadowAsh, and this is my top 10 favorite horror movies. Number 10, Child's Play. Now, for anybody who is familiar with this movie, it is pretty simple. The main focus of the movie is, Charles Lee Ray, also known as Chucky, is a serial killer who hides in a toy store after getting shot, and in order to cheat death, he uses voodoo magic to transfer his soul into a good guy doll, and which causes lightning to destroy the toy store where he was hiding, and throughout the movie we're introduced to a 6-year-old little boy named Andy, who wants one thing for his birthday, a good guy doll, and his mom happens to have the one with Chucky in it. And Chucky starts killing people, and apparently a lot of the adults blame Andy. Come on! He's a little kid, for Christ's sakes. How could he kill somebody? Oh, that's right, Chucky Small. And of course, there's the scene where the mom is trying to figure out if Andy was right, if Chucky was alive. That was pretty spooky. Unfortunately, I really didn't find Chucky to be that scary. He's a pretty cool icon, but he wasn't really scary in my opinion. But yeah. So, that's I won't spoil too much of the movie for you. The sequels to Child's Play, there's 4 movies. I haven't really watched most of them, but I did watch reviews of the first 2 sequels from Nostalgia Critic and Phaelus. So, yeah. If there's one Child's Play movie I would not recommend, even though I never watched it, Child's Play 3 and Seeds of Chucky. Those movies suck. Overall, Child's Play is a good movie, so I would recommend it. And the theme, even though this video has no music, is pretty catchy. So yeah, number 10 is Child's Play. Number 9, Scream. Now, for anybody who is familiar with the slasher genre, Scream, many people seem to hate this movie, but when I watched this movie, I actually liked it. It was a pretty good horror movie. And basically this movie has a ton of horror movie references. It has references from Halloween, Friday the 13th, and A Nightmare on Elm Street. Speaking of which, the director of this movie was Wes Craven. And he actually did a pretty good job with this one. The main killer of the movie is Ghostface. Basically, he's a guy in a Halloween costume who goes around and kills people by basically how he does it is pretty unique. He gives out these prank phone calls to certain people, and he gives them like trivia questions about horror movies. And one thing, if you get an answer wrong, you die. Nope, I am not kidding. You die. The opening movie was just it was really great. And the movie, some of the characters are okay. I did like Sidney Prescott. She was a pretty good character. So yeah, I really like this movie. So yeah, if you really like horror movie references, give Scream a shot. However, I haven't really watched Scream 2 and Scream 4. I have watched Scream 3. It was pretty bland. So yeah. Number 9 is Scream. Number 8, Carrie. Now, for anybody who's heard of this movie, this was the first ever movie adaptation of a novel by Stephen King. And we all know that some of Stephen King's adaptations are pretty good. Like there's The Shawshank Redemption, Stand By Me, and of course you got Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, and of course that scary dog movie called Cujo, that I never even watched. But this movie is really good. There's actually a remake of this one in 2003, and another one in the making that's coming out next year. So, what is Carrie all about? Well, here, I'll give you guys a little recap. Carrie White is she's this teenager who is outcast by her peers. She's treated like crap. A lot of people hate her, especially most of the popular girls. I mean, come on. They start picking on her in a shower. That is just cruel. And let's not forget her bitchy-ass mother. Oh my god, I hate her so damn much. She treats her own daughter like crap. I mean, I know she's highly religious, but this is just so freaking far! And as you watch the movie, it starts to feel like it's not really a horror movie, but, near the movie, this is when shit begins to happen. Basically, she gets accepted to a prom, and when she's crowned the queen of the prom, some of the teenagers pour pig's blood on her, what was it? All over her body, and she gets so pissed that she uses her telekinetic powers to burn the school and kill everybody, including a teacher that has been helping her throughout the movie. And my favorite part of the whole movie is that teenager girl and her boyfriend getting it. Seriously, don't fuck with Carrie. Overall, if you like Stephen King novels, give Carrie a watch. It's a good movie. As for the remakes, I haven't watched the 2003 remake yet, and as for the upcoming remake in 2013, I'm actually looking forward to that one. I might give it a go, so yeah. Number 8 is Carrie. Number 7, Friday the 13th. Oh boy, talk about a classic. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute. This movie doesn't even have Jason Voorhees in it. Well, yeah. Well, basically, this movie builds up to when Jason becomes a killer, but it's a different way around. The plot of this movie is, of course, simple. Young Jason drowns in Camp Crystal Lake. His mother is really pissed off about this, and the counselors that were watching him were like, let's forget about some kid and let's go have sex instead. And that is a stupid cliche. Sex leads to death. And that's what happened to the camp counselors. Miss Voorhees just kills them, and the camp closes. And then, in the present day, it reopens, and Miss Voorhees finds out about this, and she starts killing off the, camp counselors one by one. Now, and it's really good. I mean, the death scenes were pretty good, and not to mention the most famous out of all of them, Kevin Bacon getting the arrow through the neck. Yeesh. That is pretty gruesome. And in the end, it's down to Mrs. Voorhees and the survivor, Alice. I actually watched that movie yesterday on TV. Yeah, watching horror movies on TV kind of suck. I wish I had the uncut movie. But, yeah. And the ending of how Alice killed Voorhees was, I mean, pretty good. And in the end, was pretty scary as hell. I mean, Jason's all like a freaking corpse in that one. Yeesh. Talk about child nightmare fuel. Now, what about the sequels? Well, many people like to say, as the sequels get worse, Jason Voorhees got more lovable. I mean, he doesn't become the killer until part 2, where he just wears a sack on his head. And that didn't fit him pretty well. And the movie was okay, because it got a big introduction to Jason. And part 3, which was a weak one, it's not until part 3 where he finally dons the hockey mask and became the killer we all know and love today. Part 4 was just a really good one. I mean, part 4 was a really great movie, but I kind of wish the series could have ended with part 4. However, they decided to make more sequels. Part 5 was shit. It was really bad. Part 6, it was alright. Part 7, once again, has telekinetic powers, and I love telekinesis. Part 8 was kind of boring. Jason Goes to Hell was crap. Jason X, what a fucking disappointment. I mean, I'm a sci-fi fan, and that movie was just bad. Really fucking bad. So, yeah. Anyway, so if you're looking for a really good horror movie, Friday the 13th is a good pick. Number 6, the Evil Dead Trilogy. Oh boy, I was really torn with this one. I had a hard time trying to decide which of these movies I really liked. So, I decided to just go for both of them. The first one, Evil Dead 1, basically, is about five college students go to a, vacation getaway in a cabin, where they find a book known as the Necronomicon. I have a hard time pronouncing that word. Or the Book of the Dead. Yeah, I'll just call it the Book of the Dead. And, they hear a recording, and the guy who opened the book, the recording starts, talking about, what's written in the book, and after reading the book, this is when shit begins to hit the fans. I mean, there is a lot of shit in this movie, like, a woman getting, stabbed by a pencil, and oh god, the woman getting raped by a tree. Now that is fucked up. And the movie later boils down to, and people are getting possessed. I mean, damn. And the main character in this one, well, most of the survivors are mostly women. In this movie, it's a guy. Ash Williams. He's freaking awesome. And, that's basically the premise of Evil Dead 1. Basically, it was a bit of a low-budget film, kind of like Hellraiser. Nobody gave a shit about it. However, Evil Dead 2, which is considered the best in the series, I mean, that one was pretty good. I mean, Ash is trying to fight off against his evil side, and that's the part where he gets the chainsaw for the arm, and he gets his famous shotgun. And what about Army of Darkness? Many people didn't like it because it wasn't really considered a horror. It was more of a black comedy. I'm gonna be honest. I thought that movie was freaking hilarious. That's what I find about the Evil Dead movies. Even though they're scary, they are just laughable. I mean, I just love comedies. I mean, comedy is my second favorite movie genre. and I just love laughing my pants off. I mean, Ash Williams is freaking badass, too. So, if you really like, Bruce Campbell, and, Sam Raimi's movies, especially the, Spider-Man Trilogy movies, definitely give Evil Dead 1, 2, and somewhat Army of Darkness a shot. So, they're really good movies, so I would definitely recommend, the Evil Dead Trilogy. Number 5, Psycho. Okay, let me get this straight. I am not talking about that remake from the late 90s, which was very bad. I'm talking about the original 1960 classic by Alfred Hitchcock. I mean, that guy, he is the master of suspense. And Psycho is no exception. Now, for anybody who's watched this movie, if you never watched this movie, then I'll give you guys a recap. The movie stars a woman, not gonna spoil her name. She's on the run of the police because she stole some money. I haven't watched the full movie. I've only watched like the second half of the movie, but I have heard of the infamous shower scene. And she arrives in the Bates Motel where she meets Norman Bates. And just by the look at it, you know he's pretty much psycho. And it turns out he's her mama's boy. Kind of like Jason Voorhees. No offense, Jason Voorhees fans. Didn't mean to piss you off there. But anyway, then she gets killed off, right off. She's actually the first of the main characters to actually die. I mean, that is strange. And the shower scene, no wonder why a lot of people say it's a famous scene. And then throughout the end, we find out that Norman is actually a psychopath because of his mom. And the ending, oh my god, that is really creepy. I just have to say this: Norman Bates scares the living crap out of me. I mean, that stare, oh my god, that is freaking scary. And Anthony Perkins does a perfect job as Norman Bates. Now, the sequels, haven't heard from him. I have heard of Psycho 2 from, James Rolfe's, top 10 movie sequels that aren't as bad as everybody says would be. Haven't watched it. Same goes for Psycho 3 and Psycho 4. But still, if you want a good scare, for suspense, watch the original Psycho. Forget about that terrible remake from the late 90s. Alfred Hitchcock is the master of suspense. And I just love Psycho. So definitely watch that movie. Unless you're up for it. Number 4, The Exorcist. Oh boy, I had to see this movie. I mean, I just had to see The Exorcist. A lot of people say that this is the scariest movie of all time. I mean, my dad watched this movie. My dad watched The Exorcist, and he still has the DVD of that movie. And I watched it, and I mean, it scared the hell out of a lot of people. So let's see if it had an impact on me. And to be quite honest, I wasn't really scared of it. I mean, I love the movie. The special effects are just great. Like from the head spin, from the spinning head, the pea soup vomit, to the crab walk. Damn! And oh my god, Regan, being possessed by the devil. Holy shit, that was pretty scary. I mean, I think the first time I ever saw that, a friend of mine actually wanted me to watch a certain video of a rabbit one time ago, and then all of a sudden, Reagan's face popped out, and I'm like, oh shit! I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, that face still scares the crap out of me. But it was still pretty good. And, but what about the plot of the movie? Well, the movie is kind of simple. Regan gets possessed by the devil, and a lot of these weird paranormal things are happening around her, and, her mother thinks something is wrong with her, and she's taken her to some hospitals, and she also the doctors tell her that medication won't help her, and it turns out that the only way to cure her daughter is to perform an exorcism. And, that's, when the two priests come, and I gotta admit, the scene where the exorcist, goes into the house was actually pretty good. So yeah, I like The Exorcist. Even though it's not number 1 on the list, I still like it. As for the sequels, the other prequels, I didn't really watch them, but I did hear about The Exorcist 2 from the Nostalgia Critic, and wow. Why did they fuck up a really great movie? But yeah, overall, if you really want a good scare, give The Exorcist a watch. Seriously. If you want a good scare, put it on your DVD player, turn off the lights, and whatever you do, don't flinch. Because this is a scary movie. Even though it didn't have a big impact on me, watch The Exorcist. It is a good movie. Number 3. Halloween. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. What? Why is Halloween at number 3? Well, what do you expect? It is a great horror movie. I mean, I like it as much as I like The Exorcist. I mean, it's a really great movie. But yeah. So yeah, you're probably wondering which Halloween movie I'm talking about. The original 1978 movie by John Carpenter. I mean, he is just great with this movie. I mean, I don't care for Rob Zombie's remakes too much, but still, Halloween. Oh boy, now, this is when the slasher genre gets really good. It is just a great movie. I mean, you have Michael Myers who, is hell-bent on killing Laurie Strode, who is played by Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie. And, if you've watched, the sequels, you already know, she's his sister. Mind you, this is the plot of the first movie. And, but, what about the other movies? No, wait, I'm sorry. But, what about the movie itself? Well, here's a little rundown. Basically, we start off, Michael Myers kills his own sister, Judith. Yeah, Judith Myers, in cold blood. And he was only 6 when he done that. 6 years old! And then he gets taken to Smith's Grove Sanitarium, and he's under the watchful eye of Dr. Samuel Loomis, played by Donald Pleasence. We all know how awesome that performance is. And when he was about to get transferred into court, Michael Myers escapes from the sanitarium and heads back to his old home as he starts stalking Laurie Strode and her friends. And when the night comes, now you really don't get a good look at Michael Myers in the dark. I mean, that's what makes this movie so good. You don't get a good look at the killer. And the kills are mostly done in the dark. I mean, that is just creative. I mean, I gotta hand it to Carpenter. That is so hardcore. I mean, of course, how he does it is really unique. Like, he pins one of them to a wall, he chokes one of the girls with a phone, until it boils down to him and Laurie. And it was just pretty heart-wrenching. I mean, damn. And in the end, when he gets shot 6 times, falls off the balcony, and in the end where he disappears, oh my god, so awesome! So, what about the sequels? Did I enjoy them? Well, here's my take. Halloween 2, it was pretty good. I actually liked that movie. Halloween 3 was stupid. Of course, we all know it had nothing to do with Michael Myers. Halloween 4, it was pretty good. Halloween 5, many people don't like that movie, but I kind of find it, it was okay. I could put it on the mess side. Halloween 6 was crap. H2O, I'm gonna be quite honest with you. When I first watched H2O, I found it really boring. I mean, Michael Myers doesn't have a lot of kills in that one, and, but it did lead some character development in Laurie Strode, and I kind of admit, I like Jamie Lee Curtis's performance as Laurie Strode. And Halloween Resurrection, oh fuck. Halloween Resurrection is a horrible movie. Do not watch it. It is just a bad piece of shit. And what about Rob Zombie's remakes? The original Halloween, many people say they love it or hate it. I haven't watched it. Halloween 2, I have watched a review of it. So disappointing. That's why I really don't like watching horror movie remakes. But yeah. But still, if you want a good scare, watch Halloween. The original John Carpenter movie. I would recommend the first two movies since they followed off pretty well. And maybe H2O. Like I said, I didn't like H2O, but if you guys liked it, yeah, that's okay. But not even Halloween can match up with these two other horror movies. Number 2, Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh, baby, where do I begin with this series? Talk about a classic. Now, remember when I said I was going to explain Wes Craven later on? This is his magnum opus. I love these movies. I love Nightmare on Elm Street. It is just a really good movie. And oh my god, Freddy Krueger. Oh, hell yeah, I freaking love Freddy Krueger. I mean, basically, his backstory is really unique. Freddy Krueger, he starts off as a child murderer. He starts killing all the kids in Springwood, and apparently he gets arrested, but unfortunately he gets released after getting arrested, and all the parents of Elm Street were really pissed at this, so they decide to take matters in their own hands, and they follow him to his boiler room and burn him alive. But if you thought that's the end of Freddy Krueger, oh no. He actually comes back. He actually comes back in people's dreams. Now that is really creative. And the scenes where he kills them, oh my god, so awesome. And the main character, Nancy, oh man, I was rooting for her all the way too. She's smart enough to challenge Freddy. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention, for Johnny Depp fans, this is actually the very first movie Johnny Depp ever starred in. Not one of his best performances, but still, it was okay. But yeah. And like Halloween and like Child's Play, like Chucky, Freddy has a personality. He talks, and I just like the fact that he taunts his victims before killing them. He's not like your average silent mask killer like Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers. He's just witty. And you have to admit, Robert Englund is freaking awesome. Now, as for the sequels, now here's what I think of them. Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is bullshit. Fucking bullshit. It is a bad movie. Dream Warriors, I really liked it. It was a pretty good sequel. Dream Master, a lot of people really didn't like that movie, but I found it on the mess side. I would put it in the same level as Halloween 5. The Dream Child was kind of boring, and Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, to be quite honest, even though the movie was crap, it was kind of funny, to be honest. I like Freddy's personality, and the idea of mentioning the Power Glove was pretty weird. I mean, mentioning the Power Glove was pretty weird. And none of the characters in that movie were great. However, sad thing is, I haven't watched Wes Craven's New Nightmare yet. I would really like to watch that movie at some point. And I did forget to mention this. Yes, I did watch Freddy vs. Jason, and I was rooting for Freddy all the way. Even though the movie was pretty good in my opinion, the ending was shit. And I didn't really care enough for the 2010 remake. That movie was just boring. All they had was just jump scares. I mean that's fine in a thing. Jackie Earle Harley, if that's his name, correct me if I'm wrong. He actually does a pretty good job as Freddy, but Robert Englund is still the greatest Freddy Krueger. And also, I love playing as Freddy Krueger in Mortal Kombat. That is awesome. So, yeah. Overall, Nightmare on Elm Street is an awesome movie. But now comes the big question. What is my favorite horror movie of all time? If it's not Nightmare on Elm Street, then what could it possibly be? But first, let's recap. Number 10, Child's Play. Number 9, Scream. Number 8, Carrie. Number 7, Friday the 13th. Number 6, The Evil Dead Trilogy. Number 5, Psycho. Number 4, The Exorcist. Number 3, Halloween. And number 2, Nightmare on Elm Street. So, what can possibly beat all these horror movies combined? Simple. For this movie, I have to like it so much, I have to be scared of it, and I have to like it than any other horror movie. So, what is my favorite horror movie of all time? Well, the answer will intrigue you. A little spoiler. My favorite horror movie is a sci-fi flick. Yep, a sci-fi flick. And it's none like any other. And no, it is not John Carpenter's The Thing. That movie was just downright disgusting. But it was pretty good. But no more tricks. Here it is. My favorite horror movie of all time is Alien. Oh, baby, where do I begin with Alien? I mean, this movie, oh man. I mean, this is just an awesome movie. I mean, I'm just gonna go in the back. Sci-fi is my favorite genre of all time. I mean, I just love anything sci-fi related, including the Star Wars movies. And Alien is no exception. Now, basically what the movie's about, many people don't find it as a horror movie. They kind of make it more like it's sci-fi. I mean, my dad is one of those people. But, I'll be honest, this movie did scare the living crap out of me when I watched it. And, I really enjoyed it. So much. I enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed all these movies on this list. And, yeah, so what's the movie about? Well, you have a group of astronauts who pick up a alien signal on a nearby asteroid, and one of the astronauts gets attacked by a strange spider-looking thing called a facehugger. Apparently, what's weird about this is that when a facehugger attaches to you, it won't let go. And once the facehugger dies, the guy, which was actually played by John Hurt, feels like he's alright. But that's not until then when a alien pops out of his chest, called a chest burster, and then it runs off, and then suddenly it grows into this fully grown alien, aka the Xenomorph. And oh my god, that alien is so freaking awesome. I mean, when I first saw the alien, I was like really amazed. I mean, holy shit! I mean, that thing just scared me. I mean, jump scare. I mean, this whole setting takes place in a spaceship, and you don't know when the alien is gonna strike. And it starts, and then it boils down to the final survivor, who is Ellen Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, and she does a really great job as Ripley. And oh man, I just love this movie. So yeah, so what about the other movies? What did I think of the sequels? Aliens was awesome. I loved it as much as I enjoyed the first movie. Alien 3 was pretty good. Alien Resurrection? What a fucking rip-off. Well, not really a rip-off, but it was horrible. Don't watch that movie. It just sucks. And speaking of aliens, I should also mention Alien vs. Predator, which I actually watched for the first time last week, and many of you guys are probably going to say, that movie was bad. That movie was shit. But, for me, I actually enjoyed it. I mean, I don't like it, I don't hate it, to be honest. I actually enjoyed it. I mean, I put it in the same boat as Sonic Next Gen. I mean, it's something that, like, I don't like, I don't hate, but I enjoy at the same time, and I thought it was mediocre. So, yeah. I enjoyed Alien vs. Predator. And the sequel, Aliens vs. Predator Requiem? Sorry. It was kind of bad. Really disappointing. The Predalien was so messed up. And since I'm talking about aliens, the Predator movies, the first one, I didn't really watch the first Predator movie as well as the Predators one, but I did watch Predator 2. It was boring. But yeah. But nothing can top Ridley Scott's Alien. Speaking of which, what did I think of Prometheus? Didn't watch it. My parents actually did watch it, but I didn't. Heard it was a pretty decent film, though. But yeah. So, there you have it, guys. Those were my top 10 favorite horror movies. I really hope you all enjoyed this awesome Halloween special, and I will see you guys in my next video. Until then, I am going to say some from Alien. In space, no one can hear you scream. And welcome to prime time, bitch! Oh, hell yeah!